What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be looking at some goalie options for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I made a video already on John Gibson and whether or not that would make sense for the Toronto Maple Leafs if they went out and acquired him. I've also made a video talking about Jack Campbell, which we will talk about again here. But if you are new here, like this video and subscribe. Go check out all those other videos because maybe it'll help you leading into this one. Because I kind of have some reasoning in those videos that could make you guys wonder a little bit more why I chose some of these guys. But I will explain it. But I know a lot of people who are watching this video aren't subscribed. I can tell. I look into the back end of YouTube Studio. I can tell. So please subscribe if you are new. But this is coming off the heels of, obviously, the Leafs contract talks with Jack Campbell haven't been public, if there are any contract talks right now, and the fact that the Leafs just fired goalie coach Steve Briere. If you guys don't know, Steve Briere has been the goalie coach for quite some time, and yeah, the other thing is he's the one that Sheldon Keefe basically cursed at in the Amazon series that the Leafs did, the All or Nothing series, which should have been a lot better in terms of the result at the end of the year. But wow, yeah, no, that's the goalie coach that he yelled at. But we're going to look at some options here, and I think it's fair that we start off with the one that's homegrown, the guy who's in the Leafs organization technically still. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense because he's an unrestricted free agent. He's the guy that the Leafs have been playing for the last few years, if I could just get my English correct, and that's Jack Campbell. He is an unrestricted free agent now, and if you would have asked me last year if the Leafs would ever lose him, I would have said, hell no. They definitely wouldn't have, but he's 30 years old, and he's looking to make probably a good amount of what his career earnings are in one season. Of course, when the Leafs acquired him, he had a very cheap contract, and then they signed him, then he was signed again at a very cheap deal at $1.6 million. He signed with the Kings here and then signed again with the Kings here, but the Leafs acquired him during this contract. Man, this video is just off to a hot start, isn't it, boys? Make sure to like and subscribe for my absolute confusion already at the start of this video. But Jack Campbell, $1.65 million for the previous season. And yeah, no, his numbers have been really good since coming to Toronto. But this year was kind of the eye-opener. You know, he played 49 games. He had a decent goals against and a decent save percentage. But again, this year in the playoffs, the Leafs couldn't get good goaltending. They got it last year, but this year, 7 games played, 3.15 goals against and an .897 save percentage. And I've said it in multiple videos in a row. I don't think it was Campbell's fault, but when you've got a goalie that's good game, bad game in the playoffs, it's not good. It's not good, and I've said it in another video previously. If you go and look at game splits, go online and look up Jack Campbell's entire season per game. You would think it's a lot, but when you start scrolling down, you look at the numbers, it jumps off the page for you because he started off the year really, really hot, good until the All-Star break, and then had a really bad, rough middle of the season, and towards the end, he picked it up a little bit, but there was a really good stretch of time where he was really, really bad, and then in the playoffs, he was hot and cold, and this is where it gets complicated, because do you want to keep a guy like that where you're not sure what kind of goaltending you're going to get towards the end of the season and into the playoffs? Or do you want to try some younger guys? Do you want to mix those two in? Maybe you keep Campbell and mix in a young up-and-coming goaltender. That's the goal, right? But it's tough. How much money do you hand out this guy? It looks like his camp's looking for over $5 million per season, and that might be out of the Leafs budget. Now, I've got a few names here, some interesting, some not, and I'll bring them up to you guys. And you guys, again, I'm turning it over to you. Let me know what you think down below. Should the Leafs acquire any of these goaltenders? So, Alexandar Georgiev. Now, I believe he still has, or no, he's a restricted free agent, and he's coming off a $2.4 million contract. So he's probably going to be looking for an upgrade from that 2.4. He's 26 years old, and the Leafs and Georgiev have been linked together a few times. Now, of course, Shesterkin is their starter, but he played in 33 games this year, 2.92 goals against and a .898 save percentage. So not the greatest numbers, but if you pair him with another goalie that can play more, maybe a little bit more games, so you're looking for a guy that can start more than Georgiev, then yeah, sure, maybe this makes sense. But again, it's about how much he would sign for per season. And if he's looking for anything over $3 million, which he might be, the Leafs probably shouldn't be interested, because I think it would be a little bit too much, even though he is an intriguing option. Now, the next one is Darcy Kuemper, who is still playing at the time I'm recording this with the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs. He's having a really, really good season. Now, he'll be an unrestricted free agent after this, making 4.5, and he probably will be making close to $6 million by the end of the season, because in 57 games played, 2.54 goals against, 921 save percentage, and his numbers in the playoffs could be better, but the Avalanche are a really good team, and he's made some really big saves for them. But his goals against is good, his save percentage not so great, but that could also have to do with shots against, but whatever. We could get into that into a lot of different videos, but he's had really good seasons. The guy's been really, really consistent since the 18-19 season, and he's even had some decent years before that, but split up into a bunch of different series of games here. He hasn't really had like full big seasons like he did this year, besides the 18-19 season, where he was also very, very good. This is a dream option, and that's why I kind of have him at the beginning of the video. I think that he's going to be really expensive. He also has a little bit of injury trouble. I just don't think it's the best fit for the Maple Leafs. I'd love Darcy Kuemper, but I think he's going to stick around in Colorado, and that's why I kind of don't want to talk too much about him. But hey, who knows? When you get to free agency, who knows? The next one is Eric Comrie. This is a really, really interesting option, because I believe he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. This is a guy who is just at a $750,000 cap hit. Now, again, I want to clarify. I believe he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, but I can't exactly remember. I think because of the amount of games he played, he will be an unrestricted free agent. So this could be very interesting for the Maple Leafs. 19 games played only, but he had a 2.58 and a 920 save percentage. And he hasn't really had the best seasons in years past. But what I'm looking at him as is a really good backup. I think that if you can get 25 good games out of him, that'd be awesome. If you can get around the 910 to 915 save percentage and around the same goals against for a guy playing 25 games, I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that, because the Leafs haven't been getting that from anybody. So I would be happy with an Eric Comrie and whoever else tandem. Well, not whoever else, but somebody who can legitimately take a bulk of games and give you good starts, quality starts, and then have a guy who's really solid as a backup in Eric Comrie. Now, the next one is Ville Husso, who I believe is going to be a restricted free agent. Now, I will see. Oh, no. So UFA. He's going to be a UFA. He's just getting off a $750,000 contract, and he is going to get a significant upgrade. He's probably going to be in the $4 million range. Plus, he had a really good year, 40 games played, 2.56 and a 919 save percentage, but he didn't have the best playoffs. Now, that could drive down his number, which could be interesting, because it looks like they are going to be going with Binnington, and I mean the St. Louis Blues. Binnington kind of took the crease back, in my opinion. So I think that Ville Husso could be an interesting option to pair with an Eric Comrie, or pair with a Jack Campbell, or pair with whoever else. My next option is a guy that I really, really like. Maybe you pair him with him, getting two new goaltenders. But if you can get Husso at a cheaper number, and you think that this guy can take on 25 to 30 games and could be a really solid backup or starter for your team, I think Husso is a very, very good option. Now, the option that I would really like is Kaapo Kahkonen. He's with the San Jose Sharks right now, 25 years old. I don't believe they'll get rid of him. I'm not going to lie. He'll be a restricted free agent coming off a cheap contract, but his numbers over the last few seasons have been pretty damn good, especially with his age. In 11 games played, 2.86, 916 save percentage. The previous year, 25 games played, 2.87 and a 910. And then the year before that, 24 games played, 2.88 and a .902. Now, he'll be getting an upgrade in terms of money on his contract, but how much, I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be ridiculous. But man, pairing a guy like Kahkonen with a Jack Campbell or a Husso, or, take your pick, I think that you need to find ways to get guys, sure, that might be cheaper, but that are cheaper and younger that have high upside. And I think a guy like Kahkonen probably makes sense to stay with the San Jose Sharks, but I'd love to find a way for the Leafs to acquire him and sign him, because of when you're a restricted free agent, you would have to acquire the signing rights, or maybe it's a sign and trade, whatever. But the Toronto Maple Leafs need goaltending, and I think that these are some solid options. These are guys that I would definitely look at. I really like Kahkonen. I think Comrie's a really good depth option, a guy who could be a good backup option. And again, if you get Campbell at like 4.5, I don't think anybody would complain about that, especially if you could pair a Campbell at 4.5 with a Kaapo Kahkonen or a Ville Husso or an Eric Comrie, or a Georgiev. You know what I mean? Like, the Leafs need to have that solid goaltending, because they just set a record for most points in a season for the Leafs and most wins, and they didn't get full goaltending for the season. They didn't get great goaltending all year. So they need goaltending. They need an impact forward, and I think that these are some good options for the goaltending side of things. So let me know down below what you guys think. If you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. I do love and appreciate you guys as always. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.